Hello and welcome to Lore Hammer. I'm your favorite jizz-handed host, Mark, and I came back to bring Lore Hammer back just for this episode, but then I didn't want to seem too eager, so I waited 88 episodes. But we're doing a Kroot episode today, and I'm fucking hyped. They're like my favorite thing in 40K. Can't wait to share them with all of you guys. Joining me today, we got Jack. Yo, welcome back.
What is up, my fellow jizzards and jizzettes? I'm your host, Bob Jack the Jizz-handed.
Yeah, these jokes will make sense eventually. They are canonically correct. We're not just being retards, although that does happen as well sometimes.
All of the above. All of the above.
Yeah. And we also got a mighty man from back from the barbershop, I guess. Who do we got here behind door number 1?
So, for one night and one night only, in honor of one of our lore helpers photoshopping our faces onto Primarchs. Hold on. Get the camera control here. It is I, Gerald Dawn, in all my strength and glory.
Oh, yeah. Man. It's like, yeah, is it a hate crime or is it is it a Nobel Prize? I don't know which way it goes.
I mean, it's jizz in my hands.
It sure is, yes. Grimaldus seems to like it. Yeah, what a way to rock a haircut that is. Do you think you're going to go out in public with it, or?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's cowardice. You could do it.
No, Grim is saying it's a keeper.
Most I'm willing to do is let our lore helper Rambo Photoshop me onto Dorn's body. So there you go.
Yes, the lore helper Harris. Okay. Well, I love it. I can't wait to look at you honestly for the next 2 hours. I'm
gonna be distracted the entire episode.
Yeah. Every time you kind of see me wipe drool away, you know what I'm zoning off and thinking about. Just sweet Gerald. All right, well, welcome to Lore Hammer. We got some quick housekeeping before we dive into this Kroot episode, so bear with us real quick.
I think this is the one episode where we have to do a mandatory handshake, like every 30 minutes.
Is that how long it takes you? I'm thinking more like every 3 minutes we should probably check it.
We're going
the entire time.
Yeah, you're so long. That's long, man. 30 seconds.
Jack's already done and ready to go for a nap.
Yeah, well, I got a few more in me, but anyway.
Oh, man. It's better if you can see what we're talking about. You can come join our Patreon, and we got video version.
Yeah.
It's $5. Got ad-free versions as well. $2.50. Pretty neat, pretty cool. You probably heard us say that before. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I think you stole my thunder, Mark, but that was because but the fault is mine.
You were distracted looking at your own glorious gear.
I know.
Dude, it's hard not to. And I mean, if you want to see it too, again, joining our live video version for $5, but you can also talk about it in our chat room with Grimaldus, who we can't check his hands. We can't check his hands right now, which is scary.
Yeah, which is scary.
Or you could call in and compliment Gerald on his facial hair yourself, and maybe just who knows?
Who knows where the night will take us? Gerald hates it. I don't know why. Gerald, what
it's really good.
Pheromones are you putting off here that it always happens like this with you?
I don't know, but apparently this has been a thing since like the Slanesh episode. So I don't know.
Listen,
I was just doing this for the Rogel Dorn bit, and now it's just gone way into excess.
Okay, well, we'll move it forward. Okay, Liber.
I blame several people. You two among them. Toasty, you know what you did.
I was lusting after you since I joined, Gerald. I remember that.
Exactly why I'm blaming you.
That was before I saw you. It's not my fault.
I blame Grim for this comment right here.
Yeah.
Stalactites under my desk. Oh.
It's a keeper. Yeah.
And we know they hang tight to the ceiling.
Yeah. Fuck. Moving forward. Moving forward, let's talk about the Liber Malleus real quick. We're doing another Liber Malleus campaign. I'm super excited. I'm going to read this little blurb for you, and then we'll say what the hell this all means. The Liber Malleus, born from a clerical error, A whole chapter that shouldn't exist yet does. That sets a tone of quiet rebellion and irony that runs through everything else. Their belief that knowledge is the ultimate weapon, even if it's heretical or xenos in origin, makes them feel more like rogue philosophers than traditional Astartes, constantly towing the line of what the Imperium allows. The image of their massive mobile fortress library drifting through space, the luminous est, is incredibly evocative, and it raises questions about the secrets they guard and how far they're willing to go to acquire more. Their strained relationship with the Inquisition, like an inevitable powder keg, do they have allies in high places, or are they one false move from censure and extermination? The fact that they made up entirely of Firstborn due to the same founding era makes them seem like relics of a past era, clinging to traditions of the wider Imperium. And finally, their decentralized company structure hints at internal diversity, maybe even conflict. Different captains interpreting the chapter's mission radically different ways. There's a lot more intrigue, secrecy, and ideological drama to come. So, the Liber Malleus campaign that we're doing, well, basically the concept is we came up with the Lorehammer chapter, and you can come be a part of it. I will buy, collect, paint, build, all that kind of fun stuff, display on the shelf behind me. And what you guys do is you can buy a spot and name a guy in the chapter, which I think is kind of cool. You can be forever honored as somebody actually a part of the Liber Malleus. It was pretty cool on the last time I did this. We've done this twice before and filled out I think we filled out half a company is what we did before. But I got like little nameplates that I put on there. I do bases, fancy bases, and the whole shebang away. Custom Liber Malleus shoulder pads, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. I think the last time you also filled out like an entire tank company too, or not tank company, but like a tank battalion for.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of rhinos, yeah, a bunch of them, yeah.
My only regret was not discovering Lorehammer sooner, so I could have taken part in the original founding when that happened.
Wow. Well, now you can. Yes. So the Sundering is happening, a new campaign, and tomorrow we have a council meeting with Jordan and Christian to see what happens with the Liber Malleus. So sure to come on Friday. I mean, the next live stream. So come check out what we're going to do, what the Sundering actually means for the chapter. And then, yeah, we'll tell you how you can buy and get involved. But if you're listening now, chances are good you can already kind of place a pre-order. So you can email the Lorehammer podcast at gmail.com or reach out on Discord at Marcus Secor or Facebook, Instagram. Reach out to me if you want to buy a Liber Malleus exclusive mini that we paint up, put a name on, all that kind of cool stuff.
Do you have a price point already? Or?
I kind of did a rough point. I don't want to say it because I can't say the number without revealing the model it's tied to. But if I reveal the model it's tied to, then it kind of sucks. So
okay, I got you.
Shut up and take my money.
I will say though, the last time to buy a basic tactical marine, it was $35, and I know that seems like a lot of bucks to pay for a mini that you don't actually ever get. But it's kind of like you donate to the podcast, you know, and you kind of help support the show and whatever. Last time I did this, I raised a bunch of money for the show, and I was able to upgrade the studio a bunch. So that's
it was awesome. You guys had a whole studio and everything in a small cat.
Yeah.
So for
I got a cat here too, actually, right now.
Kitty cat. Aw.
Yeah. This is my little jungle cat.
So for all you one-time provisional tithers, here's your chance to actually, I don't know, kind of get something out of it. So,
yeah, there will probably be a little Patreon discount there. Yeah, I'm like not trying to. I got some price points, but yeah, I think we'll leave it at that for now. Next episode, I'll reveal more. And yeah, super excited. So let's dive into Kroot, the Krootis, Aviana, and their subspecies. In this episode, we're going to go over their overview, their appearance in biology, their powers, specifically shaping. Obviously, we're going to go over reproduction. Otherwise, all these jokes just are a lawsuit waiting to happen from children like Jax who listen. So, you know, we got to talk about that. Then we'll go over the history. There's a bunch of cool little historic things that happen to the Kroot that they actually care about. And then there's a bunch that they just don't care about. It's just kind of like Kroot life across the galaxy. And then we'll talk about all their different planets, their cultures and belief. I found out Kroot have some gods. So that's been kind of fun. When writing the notes this time, you know, I've read about Kroot before, but it seems like since I read about them last, they came out with a bunch of new lore, including these 2 gods, as well as amongst a bunch of other shapers and a bunch of other kind of cool stuff. But yeah. Then we'll dive into the kindreds, the Shaper Council, variations. What kind of Kroot are out there? Green Kroot, Psychic Kroot, Aqua Kroot? We'll talk about it. Then we'll go into subspecies, famous kindreds. Oh, subspecies are like Kroot Hawks. Man, there's just a lot in this episode. Let's just get to it, I think. I could go through this draft all day, but let's just get to it.
Very interesting stuff. And I imagine for the Grimaldises out in the chat, you're probably going to expect a Kroot voice out of me at some point tonight.
Oh, I got a good one.
So
did you ever listen to the Sword and Steel RPG? I had a Kroot character in there, and his voice was mint.
Oh, I think I remember that. I'm probably going to oscillate between either that or what Cold Open Stories did, but that voice was heavily, so I might not do that one. So, and speaking of quotes, we have a quote. Isn't that something? Except that's by a Tau, so I got to come up with something different here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. They are fierce indeed, these Kroot, and savage. I look upon them and tremble at their ferocity. I can only hope that when the enemy sees them, they tremble as I do. Porvray Tau Cho, Watercast envoy to Shai Krell, prior to the ambush of the 17th Brimlock Dragoons.
I like that accent. That was very broken Asian accent almost. I liked it. It was nice.
Hey. Warhammer Plus did that in their animation for, I forget the name of the show, but they did that for their animation. So if they can do it, that's okay.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking classic, man. Just jumping back to the Liber Malleus right here, the chat asks a question. Urset asks, is this continue with the same army as before? So it's like the 3rd squad or the 3rd campaign? Because the goal was to collect the whole company. No, something devastating has happened to the chapter. I actually don't own those guys anymore. Eric has them up in Canada. I've talked about possibly shipping them down to Panama, but we're talking hundreds of dollars. So I'm just like, they can stay up there for the minute. But no, there's something that happens to a chapter. So that's all I'm going to say. Sorry to interrupt, Jared. Carry on.
All good. All good. That's a very interesting question because I am curious to learn more on how this all develops. But back to our Kroot and our broken Asian spoken Tau. That is totally okayed. Thumbs up by GW
it's canon.
And Warhammer Plus. It's canon. It's canon. The Kroot are a fiercely independent and enigmatic xenos species, best known for their role as mercenary allies of the Tau Empire. Hailing from the forest world of Pech, the Kroot possess a unique biology that allows them to absorb genetic traits from the creatures they consume, leading to highly adaptive evolutionary paths. This ability makes them dangerous not just for their combat prowess, but for their potential to become something more with each victory. Though they often appear primitive, armed with crude-looking rifles and clad in scavenger gear, their tactics are intelligent, coordinated, and utterly lethal. At the heart of Kroot society lies in the Kindred, close-knit family bands led by mystical figures known as the Shapers. Kindred, different from kin from Leagues of Votann, just so we're all aware. These Shapers serve as spiritual guides and genetic curators, carefully choosing what prey should be consumed to guide their kindred's evolution. While the Tau provide technology and supplies in exchange for Kroot military support, the Kroot never truly subordinate themselves. They follow their own path, answering only to tradition, hunger, and the will of the Shaper. In truth, their partnership with the Tau is one of mutual benefit, but also of quiet tension. The Kroot are tolerated, even respected, but never fully trusted. Beyond the battlefield, the Kroot's world is rich with untamed wilderness where beasts and kin fight for survival in ancient harmony. Rumors persist of offshoots and aberrant Kroot, those who have consumed the wrong prey or delved too far into forbidden flesh, becoming monstrous or even psychic. These tales are whispered warnings among the kindreds. In them lies the truth of the Kroot, a people not merely surviving, but constantly becoming, evolving with every battle and reshaping their destiny with every bite.
Ooh, yeah. I like this. In the last episode, we kind of talked about how some cultures advance technology, some cultures advance culture, some advance language, whatever. But yeah, I like this how the Kroot, they're advancing themselves. Every battle, every bite, every new species they encounter is a chance for them to evolve themselves.
Yeah, they kind of do the tyrannid strat where they just eat things and gain from eating things.
Yeah.
They're so what would happen if a Nid and a Kroot ate each other? Would they turn into each other?
Yeah, whose mouth opens up to accept which one? That we got to figure out.
Yeah, and maybe the
Yeah.
Nids have jizz hands.
Maybe. I don't think they do, but they could. They could. That's what they would
Hey,
take, obviously.
Well, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it would probably look kind of weird too. Which leads us into appearance in biology.
He's back at it again.
I love segues.
It's the only reason he's here.
The Kroot hail from the deadly wilds of Pech, a world where only the cunning survive. Though they resemble men in shape, their heritage is rooted in the planet's fierce avian predators. They retain vestiges of that lineage. Sharp beaks, light skeletal frames, and grasping talons that speak to a life of leaping, ambush, and aerial kill. Their hollow-boned bodies are built for speed and silence, with limbs shaped by generations of predation. Kroot skin is coarse, armored with barbed growths and crowned with quills that serve more than decoration. They're sensors, attuned to movement, heat, and the subtle shifts of prey on the wind. Each kindred wears the marks of their hunts, pigments ranging from earthy tones to wild jungle hues, shaped by what they eat and what their shaper wills. For the Kroot, evolution is guided consumption, and every kill feeds not just the belly, but the future. Tribal markings ink their flesh, not for ritual, but for recognition in war. Their youth come of age with unnatural speed, full warriors by 12 Terran years, and still dangerous a century later. Long-lived... Wait, where was it? I just lost myself. Long-lived Kroot bear the leathery scars of countless hunts, though lean in build. Their wiry strength and rapid striking muscle fibers deliver sudden death, and a single bound brings them into the trees, another into their foe. Their garb is primal hide, bone, and trophy, but every strap has purpose. Every charm tells a kill.
Ooh, yeah. So the picture is developing of these cool guys a little bit already. When they eat things, they can change colors, and you get all different types of hues, from bright greens to bright oranges. I like in 40K how they come up with a different reason for you to paint models differently. Cool little way with Kroot there.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
The other thing I really like is all those quills, man. I can just picture like them up in a jungle tree, and the quills are kind of just softly rattling and rustling, just taking in all this sensory data that, I can't describe because I don't have that sensory organ. But yeah, I love that picture. Maybe just softly barking to his fellow Kroot.
Yeah, they're so like they're indigenous in like every shape, way, and form. Like the bone and leather kind of high, instead of like what the humans have, which is all their like synthetics and stuff. They're all natural. They let the jizz hands hang.
Yeah, I do like that too about them. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Not the jizz hands part, but the Native American bit there, where like that's definitely their culture. They're kind of that shamanistic, utilize every part of the imperial soldier. Don't just waste any of it. Eat it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn his bones into a armor chest plate. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great guys with great ideals.
I know the last episode I was on, I gave the Tau a lot of crap for being Discount Covenant from Halo, but honestly, the Jackals seem like Discount Kroot in this respect. Or sorry, the Skirmishers from Reach.
Ah, nice.
I-
So 40K is better for once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
Absolutely.
they came out before then?
Let's see. If I remember correct, Halo, the original Halo came out in 2001, and I think it was like a year or two after that the Tau came out as a faction. Someone smart, much smarter than me, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty well
All right.
close enough, I would imagine. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Awesome. With Imperial dissection, it has revealed a split brain structure, logic forward, instinct behind, a balance of mercenary calculation and predator's reflex. This may explain their disregard for technology. They adopt what works and discard what doesn't. A blade in hand and meat on the fire matters more than machines they cannot eat. The sensory crown is laced with neural ganglia, a live antenna for heat, scent, and motion. Their eyes, pupilless, a ghostly white, likely see deeper than man into the heat trails of fleeing prey. Nothing escapes them easily, their breath carries no waste, only a pungent, oily secretion tailored by what they consume. This sweat wards heat, resists infection, and makes their skin slick with defense. It can mark territory, signal danger, or bind a kindred's path with scent. It is more than waste. It is a language, a tool, a weapon. Some say it lets them pacify beasts, calm birds, and vanish into the canopy without a whisper. Kroot learn fast, too fast. With a hunter's instinct, they mimic voices, posture, tone, and master languages by watching. Their own speech is a melody of clicks, whistles, and scent trails, words carried on the wind. And sweat. Kroot are not just survivors, they are evolvers, and every battle, every meal, every contact pushes them one step closer to what they choose to become. Do they change based on like as soon as they eat, or is it like they eat something and then they breed and then whatever they like ate then becomes what they are?
Yeah. So I've wondered that myself, and I did find an example in this episode of a Kroot having multiple generations before the factors kicked in. This sounded like a special case, so like this sounded like this was rare. Like it sounded like this was tough to master the skill. I don't want to say it because I don't want to rule the little bit in the future. So yeah, it could take multiple generations. But I think also it could be just one generation. It depends on like what are you doing? Like you growing huge wings out of your back, or are you just making yourself a different shade, or maybe a little more muscular or a little leaner, or it depends for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe the
And
real
some
Oh, I was gonna say maybe the real friends were the people we ate along the way. But you
yeah.
can go.
No, I think that's the truth of it all.
Yeah.
The shaping is very interesting. We're going to talk about that now. This is that kind of ability that they have to eat and take DNA out and put into their own. The defining weapon of the Kroot is not a gun or a blade, but the hunger that shapes them. By consuming the flesh of the fallen, Kroot evolve, absorbing strength, speed, cunning, or resilience with each kill. Across the stars, no two Kroot warbands are the same, each forged by the prey they've hunted and devoured. Command rests with the Shapers, elders who guide not through speech but through instinct. They taste the future in blood, steering their kin to consume only what make them more lethal. A Shaper who seeks brute force leads hunts against orcs. If wings are desired, aerial beasts become the quarry. The battlefield is their gene lab. This ritual of consumption is not mere biology, it is belief. Kroot think that the spirit of a warrior lies within the flesh. To eat the dead is to honor them, to inherit their fight. When the Kroot dies, the kindred feasts in reverence, carrying the fallen towards or forward in tooth and bone. Over time, the meat reshapes the eater. Hunt enough of one species and their essence becomes your own. Not just the body, culture seeps in too. Kroot who feast on humans or orcs sometimes mimic their habits, their tactics, and even their war cries. This is super cool, this little aspect of like cultural things slip in, like mannerisms slip in. All of a sudden, that Kroot is doing a lot of weird human things.
Are they even screaming for the Emperor? Because it says like they take the war cries too.
Yeah, then they might, like, you eat enough humans and maybe you start thinking that.
They worship the Emperor. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not so bad.
Yeah, we're going to talk about genetic dead ends later, but we do know that, you could lean too hard and maybe that would be considered a genetic dead end of a crew that can only scream for the Emperor. Be like, that one, we don't let that one breed.
No, that one's cool. We let that one breed excessively. That one's one of the good ones.
Unless it's the excessive Marines that say for the Emperor, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Touche. The Dorn stash brings you, or the Dorn facial hair brings you wisdom
and power for sure.
Yeah.
The digestive system.
What is thy wisdom?
Oh, ew. Yeah. The digestive system is tuned for survival. No kill is wasted. Organic matter becomes energy, hoarded in internal reservoirs called NIMS. But anything, you think that's how you say that word, or is there maybe a better way? NIMS. NIMS, sure.
Oh, NIMS sounds good.
Yeah, NIMS.
Sure.
NIMS.
But anything they can't break down, metal, stone, toxin, must be vomited up, often violently. Pain is part of the price. But what truly sets the Kroot apart is their gene thief hidden in their gut. Their biology plucks useful strands of DNA from consumed prey and stitches it into their own flesh. It's not perfect. There are mistakes. Some Kroot drift down dead-end paths, reshaped into tools rather than thinkers. The Krootox is proof of this. Once kin, now beast, larger, stronger, but dull of thought. The Kroot Hound is another quick, lean, but little more than fangs with legs. These offshoots are no less valuable, though. The Kindred uses them, beasts of burden, war mounts, living weapons. The Greater Narlock is the most colossal of these allies, thundering into battle like a savage living engine. Like a living siege engine. There are stranger kin still. Winged Kroothawks, slithering Kroot worms, and others too wild to name. In the black heart of Pech's forest, there are Kroot who have wandered too far from the path, devolved to nightmares to hunt their own kind. These woods are cursed. Only fools or the desperate enter them. But danger sharpens the Kroot. They can detect poison and meet others miss. The gene steel hybrid might look clean, but the Kroot knows it tastes wrong. That instinct has saved entire kindreds from doom. Not all flesh is worth eating, though. The Necron are proof. On Kurak, some Necron fed on Necron dead. The price was agony. Their bodies erupted with nanoscarabs, turning the feast into a plague. What lives in the metal cannot be tamed by the hunger of the flesh. Yeah. I like this little bit here about all the different subspecies of Kroot worms, Kroot hawks, and the dead ends that go back to Kroot and then go haunt the forest, and you could go hunt them, and you're ultimately hunting your great uncle Schlurpin. There's like this honor to it if you want to hunt them, because it's like a warning, like this could become you, but also it's like there's the honor of the hunt and all that. There's fun hunting it too, so it's a fun little place for these dead ends.
A little bit of double nerding, like what Court likes to say, is this kind of makes me think of the Wookiees from Star Wars, because in Knights of the Old Republic, or affectionately known as KOTOR, you can actually travel to their homeworld of Kashyyyk, and like they're treetop living species, but as you go down into the deeper levels, they call it the Shadowlands, and that's where like their most wild and most feral Wookiees go, and they end up being hunted by their own kind because they're just wild and beyond all reason at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that's super. I've never heard of that. Super cool. That is like a good imagery of Kashyyyk and Pech. Very similar in construction builds and all that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do they eat the dead ends? Like the dudes that are all the way out there, or do they like just hunt them and trophy kill them?
I don't even think it's trophy kill them. It's more hunt them because you don't want them around. They are dead ends, but there's still like a reverence to it where maybe you're not trapping and torturing them, or maybe you trap them to then use them as a mount and you try to tame it. But I like, you don't want to. Well, maybe there is some trophy taking too, but like this is almost like a blot on them, a warning. So I don't know.
I'm thinking I like the Kroots.
Love the
like, yeah, they got the hands, they got the hunting, they got the killing their uncle for whatever reason. Like it's
To
a lot of
become him.
class. To become him, maybe even. Who knows? You know. Maybe. And also, they're eating metal, and the fact that they didn't just choke to death instead of like getting the
gobble it
horrible
down.
virus, they could have just choked to death, and that would have been fine. All right.
Oh, boy.
Fuzz says they probably eat them because all other native animals on Pech were hunted and eaten to extinction. You know what? Maybe that's a great point there, Fuzz. Yeah, maybe they do eat them because what else do they eat? Like the Shapers do have the ability, I suppose, to kind of pick that genetic code out and absorb them.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you have to like intentionally pick stuff out. It's not like if you just eat it, then you automatically get the traits, you know?
Yeah, like okay, so they have those geneticists on standby who are like, yes, eat your dead uncle, and we'll take out the bad genes you get from eating your dead uncle.
Yeah. And
Let's
only the
see,
good genes pass on.
You may eat the leg and the thigh, but the wing is off limits.
They have too much bad genes in the wing. No wing.
No wing. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna make the dead ends pay for
And the Kroot, lovely Kroot, they're gonna eat the dead ends too, and they're gonna make the dead ends pay for it. Lovely Kroot. I love those people.
Love the Kroot, hardworking. Oh no.
Oh,
They're gonna make the Wookiees pay for it.
Make the Tau pay for it.
Like I said, we got a little conversation in chat going. So Wookiees versus Kroot, who wins?
I'd say the Kroot, hands down. All they need to do is eat one Wookiee, and they already have Wookiee powers. But like, Wookiees aren't people anyways, right? So like, obviously, if it's humanity versus a bunch of Kroot, the humans would win because humans are better. But like, you know, they're pretty equal. So I'd say it's a Kroot. I'd say it's a Kroot win easy.
So in both settings, you're easily an Imperial.
Yes.
You're for the Emperor in either setting.
Yeah. Listen. They're just better. Also, I'd like to denounce the allegations. I don't like any xenos. I'd say that these ones are okay because they worship the Emperor sometimes. They still need to be killed
and eaten.
Yeah.
Due to them, what they do to you, so we have to kill and eat the Kroot.
Yeah, exactly. It's only right.
Yeah. Gerald, what do you think? Fuzz Wookiees or Kroot?
Ah, man, that's a hard thing to ask a former Star Wars refugee, but I don't know. I'd say Refugi. I'd say with the variants we're probably going to learn about, and I'd have to go with Kroot on this one.
Yeah. Once we get into all the different variants, then it becomes a different battle, you know.
True. And while y'all were talking, I was looking up more of the Tau versus Halo thing, and what I found was the Tau came out as a faction in 3rd edition in October of 2001. Halo started development around 1997 and then released in November of 2001. So, that being said, I'm sure some notes might have been read, homework might have been stolen and copied, so to speak, and then, just changed up so it didn't look like they were plagiarizing. I mean, I think that's a very distinct possibility, but that's just in my initial search. Yeah. So there you have it. The Tau
not-
actually came out like 1 month before Halo released. But Halo started development way longer, or way long, way longer.
Exactly.
So
So they get full credit, really.
So
Yeah.
int-
Halo's the real ones. Or no, wait, other way around. Warhammer's the real ones. They're a bunch of fakers. Halo stole it all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Halo's fake and gay. I know.
Halo's fake and gay. They have women. Ew. As we know, Warhammer doesn't have any women, any female
Look at this.
representation
Look
whatsoever.
at these Kroot. Not a woman in sight. You can't tell the men and the women apart.
Not a woman in sight.
Yeah.
They eat them. They eat them and they become them.
Yeah,
They're all girls on the inside,
oh man,
alongside the
AI
female
women.
Space Marines.
I'm waiting for how you segue into the next one off of this.
I mean that's a real conundrum there. So I'll hold on. Jack says they have AI women, especially. You're talking about Halo there, because that sounds like some heresy. That sounds forbidden, kind of like forbidden food that the Kroot are not allowed to eat. Gotcha.
Yes.
Ha!
Got there. I
Oh,
was worried, but he pulled it through.
he did it. Oh, they can't.
It's the Dawn facial hair coming in clutch.
Hand check. After that.
Hand check. No jizz. Only some, but not a lot.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. There are at least 3 species that the Kroot have been forbidden to eat by their shapers. These include Tyranids. The shapers have declared that all Tyranid bioforms to be inedible, aka being declared inedible, is as much a moral designation as a gastronomic one in Kroot culture. And because the shapers are inherently repulsed by the Tyranids' particular way of changing their genetic makeup. Number 2, humans who worship chaos, as you do. Filthy heretics, they also need to be exterminated. And then number 3, the Tau. The Kroot respect the Tau due to their role in saving the Kroot's homeworld of Pech from the orcs. As a result, the consuming Tau flesh has been made a crime in Kroot society that brings swift and deadly retribution from the shapers to any who violate the prescription.
That was the quick and that was the quick termination right there. We just saw it live. He ate something he wasn't supposed to. What was it?
Vomit it up in his back. Yeah,
I got
cool.
censored.
Tyranids, no go. They tried eating it. They're like, that is not a good taste. It just will fuck with us. Humans who worship chaos, also a bad taste. Maybe too hot, tastes spicy, and they don't like it.
Birds can't taste capsaicin though.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so then it's
a racial issue. That's what it is.
Okay.
Kroot's racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, guys, they're just as bad as I am. I didn't do anything wrong. They started it, really.
No, yeah, no, okay. You can definitely genocide anyone who tried to genocide you first.
Exactly.
I think is typically the rule.
They started it
in the 40K.
Yeah. Humans are never the bad guys. Did you finish reading? Or?
Yeah,
I think so.
you.
I know. When did I get booted? Did I miss it? Did I miss it?
No, you're good.
Honestly,
you're good.
it was
Okay,
it was like you were saying something about the shapers, and then they became hyperactive into the Newman organ.
Boo.
The hyperactive Nugan organs are
The hyperactive Nugan organ.
You betcha, Bobby Jack.
That was perfect. That was flawless. Word to word, we segged the way. And we segged the way hyperactively into the Newman organs. The hyperactive Newman organs are a Kroot organ that stores great amounts of energy, which increases the speed of the Kroot's metabolism, improving his raw muscle, speed, reflexes, and reaction time. It is not only purebred Kroots, but also the other Kroot-based organisms, like Kroot Narlox, for example, can have this organ. So some of them don't have the organ, or do they all have the organ where it was just one example? Hello?
No, some only have the organ. On tabletop, it's an
Okay.
upgrade you can take for like 1 point.
Okay.
Could take. Yeah. So you
What-
don't
what is-
always have it.
Okay. And then it just makes your rolls better for a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. Like, I think this came out mostly when they had the Kroot mercenary codex from the White Dwarf. Like, they had like this super rare supplement with a bunch of Kroot rules in a White Dwarf, and they had that in there.
Okay.
And then we never seen it again. And this was like back in like 4th, maybe 5th.
Okay. So back when we were jizzing on hands.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, weren't. I didn't trust only showing one hand and leaving the dominant one down there. That was a little sus.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the eye contact either while doing that.
Joke's on you. I'm left-handed.
Well, listen. Who knows which hand you decided to learn with?
Never heard that statement before. I like it though. It really gives me a lot to think about when meeting new people.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my.
Which hand
Okay.
should you shake? Is it
Yeah.
the right one or is it the jizz hand one?
Yeah. Watch me botch this segue. Reproduction. Boom.
I
Try-
literally I led you into it. I was like, I need to start talking about the jizz
Wow.
so I can hand it
Yo.
off to you. The jizz.
Well, here's the craziest thing. I was going through and I was looking and writing about them. And honestly, I could not source this jizz hand thing. And it's the weirdest thing. I definitely remember finding it back in the day and be like, that's the funniest, craziest thing. But I couldn't find it anymore, man. I opened up a couple codexes. I went through some other places. Like, I don't know if this is canon. Maybe it's possible that it was at one point and then it got kind of shoved away. Because they like didn't want to talk about Kroot reproduction. But here we are anyways, man. This is how I remember it happening. Kroot reproduction is a quiet, ritualistic act, far removed from the violence that defines their lives. When the time is right, and you'll know it, ladies, the male approaches a receptive female and performs a deliberate shoulder-rubbing gesture, an ancient and instinctive motion of rubbing her shoulders that transfers his genetic material through their skin. There is no mating in a human sense, only the precise sharing of essence. Once the exchange is complete, the female retreats to a safe spot to lay a single leathery egg containing the potential of a next hunter. From this shell hatches a fledgling Kroot, already bearing the subtle imprint of the prey species consumed by its kindred. That's kind of how I remember that happening. But man, now I'm thinking, was 8-year-old me just a perverted young kid who wanted to talk about Kroot jizz hands?
From what I looked up, they don't have anything about it. So realistically, you're right and they're wrong.
Man, it's just crazy because, like, honestly, like, especially back in the day, I don't think I would have just made that up. So I'm very curious if anyone finds that source. Like, I feel like I'm gaslighting myself and like, where did this fucking jizz hand? Did the ether put into my brain? Like, fuck.
I mean, but it's so. Maybe the Emperor told you.
Oop, I think I found it.
Yeah, okay, good. Because this is the most important thing, not just of this episode, but in all of 40K.
Yeah, honestly.
They won't tell us how Eldar fuck, but they let us know how the Kroot do it.
Can we get like an emergency call in to bring him on?
Just
Yeah,
so that like the live fuzz like calling in. Oh,
Ursat's the Mandela effect. Exactly. I gotta go use my
Oh.
code words with my wife and make sure we're still in the same multiverse together.
I should.
I like it though. I thought that was so cool the way they do it. Like, yeah, we're making a lot of silly fucking jokes, but none of them involve dicks, so it's fine. I love the way the Kroot reproduce it. It seems so like I can just see them doing this around a fire, a big bonfire, and they're making calls, and the children are playing around it. Like, it's very, very cool little imagery, I think.
Yeah, you imagine the children being there for the reproduction.
Just playing around the fire. The elders are telling some tales and stuff. Very just like cozy.
Yeah. All right.
It's the kind of thing that sticks with you. Don't ask how.
Nice.
But I'm sure the elders are also talking about their history.
Oh my god. It's so
I
perfect.
did it. I actually did another one. No, that was terrible.
Back at it
No.
again.
No, it was
Judge me.
better than the hyperactive Newman organ.
Oh, ooh.
I set the standard, and as long as everyone's above it, we're good.
Ah.
Don't worry. Don't
Yikes.
worry. We still have like another hour and 15 minutes before this gets much worse. So
I
the
will be
Kroot were born. Wait till you find out. The Kroot were born beneath the dense canopies of Pech, shaped by the law of tooth and claw. Their lineage bears the mark of avian ancestry. Burbs, swift and keen-eyed. Long ago, an orc rock shattered the skies and fell to Pech. The surviving greenskins were hunted, killed, and devoured. Their flesh fed more than bellies. It fed the Kroot's evolution. In time, the wreck was no longer a battleground, but the bones of a growing city. With orc genes coursing through them, the Kroot adapted, mastering the crude yet potent mech boy machines. In mere millennia, 5 sprawling hive camps rose, part forge, part breeding ground. War spheres, brutal and effective, took them to the stars. Worlds near Pech were soon claimed by Talon and Rifle, but blood calls to blood. The orcs returned, and this time the prey had teeth. Still, even with the new tools and sharpened minds, the Kroot bled, many hunts ending in bitter loss. This sounds like a story that the elders would tell.
While they're rubbing up all on each other's shoulders.
I like it. It's so cool. Kroot, they don't have a lot of technology, but they also have some technology. We get into it a little more later, but this like ability the Kroot have to then eat orc, and yeah, the most obvious thing you think they get is bigger, stronger, maybe greener, the Kroot, but also they unlock kind of like that mech boy intrinsic knowledge ability, and maybe there's some wog energy ability in there too that maybe got seeped in. But very kind of cool first encounter. You got this battle of these non-humanoid bird creatures eating orcs, and eventually they become kind of humanoid.
Yeah, it's super cool. Plus, like maybe the more humans they eat, if they ate like Mechanicus, they'd become more like into machines and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, for sure.
Especially if like the orc, the silly gooses, as we call them, they could do that to them. I'm forgetting the name. I don't know why. Mech
the
boys.
Silly gooses, mech boys.
The mech boys.
the silly geese's mech boys. That sounds like an orc war band you can make.
I have to. The silly geese.
I just had this image. Here's another double nerding. If anyone is familiar with the series Oddworld, it is like what's the best way to describe it? It is like super eco hippies against ultra capitalists. And it's like the good guys are like this pseudo bird race called Mudokons, and they're like a slave race to the industrialists. And I'm getting this image of like Kroot eating Mechanicus, and all of a sudden they're getting more industrial than their native species, which the Mudokons from Oddworld are somewhat inspired by indigenous Native Americans. So there's your double, triple nerding.
Which one came out first?
Oddworld came out in like 96, 97.
So Kroots were first.
I mean, always.
Yeah, so Oddworld stole from 40K.
Everybody stole from 40K. You know this. They all went back in time to pretend like they made it first.
Yeah, and it's awful. You hate to see it.
I hate to see it. Just like you hate to see a war in a place
of union.
Yeah,
and and when would that happen? At the end of the Tao's first year of expansion. A Daleth exploration fleet caught distant scans, orc warships battering Kroot war spheres above the world of Krath. The Kroot, unknown to the Tau then, stood their ground in a losing battle to defend their enclave, outgunned but not outwitted. The Tau came only to watch, but as the orcs closed in with brutal force, the air and fire caste leaders broke protocol. Honorless slaughter was no sight for warriors. The Tau struck first, tearing apart the crude green-skinned ships with cold precision. But it was bait. The true horde came fast, flanking and surrounding. What began as a chance encounter became the war in the place of union. An extended hunt across void and soil. The Kroot and Tau, strangers at the outset, fought as one. The Kroot adapted to firecast tactics by eating them, and their raw, close-quarter ferocity turned the tide. With Sakan
I
reinforced.
feel like you added a little word there too.
I don't know
about
what you mean.
eating fire.
I
Okay,
don't know.
okay.
I mean, they listen. I only know one way the Kroot adapt.
You can't.
I
That's rule number 3, my man. You can't eat Tau.
You can't eat.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they didn't know that then.
Oh yeah,
Not
good
at
point.
the
Okay,
time.
I'm the dumb bitch. She called me out.
Yeah,
Okay, carry
yeah,
on.
exactly. The Tau didn't have the mind control helmets on yet. The orc advance was broken. Impressed, the Tau offered more than thanks, their bodies. They proposed a campaign to free the remaining Kroot enclaves under siege. For 10 Terran years, the two forces hunted orcs across the stars, ending on sacred Pech. There, Angkor Proc, war leader of his kind, stood at the Oath Stone. He pledged blades to the Tau Empire for coin, honor, and the promise of new prey. The pact endures. Kroot fight across the stars beside the Tau, the most trusted of their auxiliaries. The Tau admire their skill, though still dream of refining their savage hunger. The Kroot, meanwhile, take pay and meat with equal satisfaction.
Fucking cool. I love
Realistically
this
speaking,
battle.
if the Tau sent all the dudes who really hated Kroot hunger over to Kroot worlds and had them get eaten by the Kroot, would the Kroot then have less hunger?
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying.
And you
clearly,
just solved Kroot hunger. We can shut down all the charity organizations. We don't need them no more. Kroot hunger has been solved.
I
Across
just
the
solved
galaxy.
Kroot hunger. All they had to do was not be hungry.
All they had.
That's it.
Listen.
All they had to do. Why don't they buy a sandwich? I don't get it. If they
But
ate a
they-
hamburger, would they become the cow?
Moo.
Is that how they become?
That's what happens
Kroot-esque?
when they. Yeah.
Or
That's what
Tau-esque?
happens when they eat Tau. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, they become camels if they eat Tau. I guess actually, but
I don't know. They
So if
become communists probably.
fuck.
So if they ate a Grox burger, would they become like an actual Grox?
Yeah, maybe that's how you get like a lizard cow grox. Ooh.
Lizard cowgirl.
So now we have Lizardmen in 40K.
Now we're
Fantasy
talking.
fans.
We already
unite.
had lizard men. They
Slan.
run the secret societies underground, under hollow earth, under hollow flat earth, under that's also at the center of the universe. They live in the
Wrong
ice walls.
podcast.
They live
Save
in the
that
ice
for
walls.
Hydra thoughts.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Yeah.
My apologies. It just slipped out. You know, the Tau mind control slipped for half a second.
Yeah, no, that happens. It's okay. You're but a Gruvessa to them. It's fine.
I'm but a all self-righteous filthy Gruvessa. It can't be helped.
Somebody give Moby Jack a new tinfoil hat.
My apologies.
His brain's leaking through his ears again.
That's what
I
you
love
get
this
for having
battle
an
with
open mind.
the orcs and the Tau and the Kroot all kind of the Tau and the Kroot working together and kind of forging that first alliance of it's pretty iconic in the 40K universe. It's pretty nice. I like how they did it. I always thought it's cool. You get like the clean, sleek, elegant lines of the Tau mixed with like the bone and the leathers of the Kroot. And when I first got into 40K, I didn't know that they were a different race. And I almost thought the Tau were robots and the Kroot were building the Tau. Because I had just seen them in like a White Dwarf magazine or something like that. And I was just a 10-year-old punk ass kid. That was my vibe. But yeah, I love the difference between the look and just picturing them fighting in the jungle against orcs together, becoming friends, best of buds, good times.
Yeah. Maybe the real friends were the ones that we didn't eat along the way, actually.
Yeah, the real friends are the
we're
Tau
pretending to eat.
Empire, and they are a young but rapidly expanding starfaring civilization, bound together by the philosophy of the greater good, a unifying ideal that champions cooperation, order, and collective advancement. Unlike the xenophobic empires that surround them, the Tau have forged alliances with a diverse array of aliens, each value their unique strengths. The cunning gene-shifting Kroot service scouts and shock troops, the insectile Vespid bring agility and flight to the battlefield, and the numerous lesser-known Xenos races contribute labor, knowledge, or firepower. Though the Kroot preach unity, these alliances are often transactional, rooted not only in ideology, but in necessity, trade, or strategic interest. For many, the greater good is a banner worth fighting under, even if loyalty is measured in payment and opportunity. But for the Kroot, it's kind of like a payback. Like, you helped us. Without you, we would have been fucked by those orcs. So now we kind of will always help you out.
You massage my shoulders, I massage yours.
The Kroot
Don't worry.
says.
My hands aren't wet. Are your hands wet? No. Don't worry.
Hey, why am I the only one doing the hand check here, guys? Come on.
Shit,
Come
my
on.
bad. My bad. I was just
saw that
excited.
one
I
hand
needed
down,
another
Mark.
minute.
God forbid a guy be happy to be here.
Yeah, heaven forbid a guy have a good time.
Well, you know who wasn't happy? The Imperium when they first made contact.
No, not as happy as with the Tau.
No, not so much. The Kroot first crossed paths with the Imperium of Man during the Damocles Gulf Crusade on the tangled hunting grounds of Someone help me out here. Eerily? Is that it?
It's
I think you got to toss that
filthy
Asian
Xenos.
accent on.
Yeah, it's a filthy Xenos word. Don't worry about it.
Okay. They're the Astra Militarum 17th Brimlock
Stupid.
Dragoons.
No more Japanese.
Eerily.
Yeah, I think Ursats will appreciate my attempt there on that.
Oh yeah.
Better
That's
than my I could say better than my my attempt at a New Zealand accent last week.
Swedish one?
Oh, we don't talk about the Swedish accent.
The Swedish. He is a
Jane
humble.
called a hand check on us.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we know we're good, but there's some hesitation there always.
Hey, you gotta clean up a little bit, right? Like you wipe them off on the shorts. You gotta don't put it anywhere near your mouth. That's the whole point.
Gerald, take me back to Sakrel. Take me
Oh,
away
yeah.
from
Sakrel. So on Sakrel, the Astra Militarum's 17th Brimlock Dragoons moved toward the front lines, blind, bold, and ripe for the taking. I don't know why I just went into that whole thing. The Kroot struck with instinctive precision. Their scouts silenced the elite elements before alarms could be raised. Then, as the Brimlock column pushed into a forested choke point, 3 Kroot Kindred sprang the trap. From branch and shadow, the first volleys tore through the regiment. Dozens of guardsmen fell before their weapons even cleared holsters. Colonel Constantine Griffin and Commissar Eigerman rallied fast, forming a hard shell around the remnants. The Kroot shifted tactics, harrying from the flanks, testing for weaknesses, but the prey had grown teeth. Only when the scythes of the Emperor arrived did the Kroot disengage. Even apex hunters know when a kill turns sour. With the Astartes on the field, the odds tipped. The Kroot faded into the wilds, ever pragmatic. They'd earned what they needed: meat, gene stock, and lessons. And when the forest grew quiet, they were already hunting softer quarry elsewhere.
Bunch of nerd hippies who run away from a good fight. They should have just been put down like they deserved. They should have. You all right, Mark?
Man.
Yeah, just a couple sneezes is all good.
Yeah.
You like that,
So-
eh? You like watching me
Yeah. No, it's what I paid for.
combine those 7 sneezes with the jizz hands, and we got ourselves a good evening.
Yeah, exactly. You
Why'd you-
sneeze
why-
legit. You make
Why'd
it
you
airborne.
specify 7? Why'd you specify 7 sneezes? Are we worshiping
I
Nurgle
think it's
now?
a scientific fact that if you sneeze 7 times in a row, you orgasm. Scientifically, that is a fact.
Okay, so we're
I'm gonna
circling
try
back
it.
to Slanesh. So Jack, take this. Jack, take this
Take
over
it to
before we
Slanesh.
go back to Slanesh.
Yeah.
Listen, realistically, if we're gonna take it to Slanesh, we should at least talk about the homeworld of the people who are galactic geography jizz hand.
So close. That was like talking to like a 2020 chatbot where it's like that was a
I'm like
sentence,
striving
but
for it.
not quite.
I'm getting there with like
You're learning.
I'm at like the Chat GBT 2.7 or whatever that it was.
Yeah. But you're learning. We'll
I'm
get
still
there.
I'm still doing 6 fingers. Pech is carved into 3 great landmasses. The largest cloaked in thick evergreen jaga trees and ruled by humidity and heat. Its jungles steam, its forests stretch for leagues, and its leagues are ocean measurements. Its forests stretch for miles, and its crags and peaks rise like blades above prey-rich ground. Where the trees thin, the land turns harsh, stones split, storm-racked, and unforgiving to the unadapted. Few native creatures remain. Most were consumed, outcompeted, or bred out by the Kroot. Life on Pech now walks on claws and sinew. Krootox herds thunder through the brush, hound packs howl under moonlight, and the Korthok soars above, perhaps the progenitor of them all. The Kroot roost in the canopies, crafting dwellings from scavenged bone, hide, and spat upon lignin. Ruins of 5 ancient hive cities lie buried in the undergrowth, monuments to an age of overreach, now abandoned in favor of instinct, tradition, and the hunt. The land remembers blood and oath alike. Mount Koikon cradles in the grave of Angkok Prok, beneath a Jaga carving that touches the sky. The grove of ancestors whisper the Cayman peaks, and the oath stone stands defiant on the plain of bones. Yet not all ground is sacred. Kroot tread lightly near the Yogthalak forest, where black limbs twist and old kin turned feral stalk the dark. Pech grips the Kroot mind like an echo of the gene trail. Even those born light years away feel its pull. In time, most return to hunt, to learn, to become more.
Cool.
What kind of hive cities are they talking about? Like human?
Yeah. No, I almost picture that, but they're not human. Like I kind of almost picture them built around trees. So it's almost spires as well. But like just imagine you have the tree in the center, but then it's like actual metal and stuff instead of wood being built. And the trees are massive. And then maybe since it's metal, it goes up even taller.
Yeah.
Who knows what these hives look like, but they're definitely like they have manufacturing capabilities and like they're more than just your tribal huts.
It'd be really cool if we found out that like the cat girls, the Kroot were bred from like an experiment and they were actually human, which is why they're acceptable. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So that way it would make me less xeno acceptance.
Yeah, that's one way to live a life. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's definitely a way.
Listen, living a life full of hate is what the God Emperor intended, you know? And
if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for you.
exactly, you know, and I just hate him. They're gross.
Yeah. Pech is pretty cool. You can kind of get some more kind of tribal shaman kind of Native American vibes based off that. Fuzz said a tree city like an Avatar. Yeah, that's a good vibe. That planet, I forget, Pandora, I think it's called. That giant kind of forest vibe, very pecky.
Yeah.
Tau do have a bunch of worlds, though. We're going to cruise through these worlds that they have pretty quick. Some of them are pretty neat because you can kind of flavor your Tau based off them. It's one extra little flavoring in the crock pot, if you want to call it that. The first one we got is the Akachan Kur, and it is a Kroot world home to the Karak Kar civilization, whose warriors serve as mercenaries across the galaxy. Notable tracker Dak Yak Grek hails from this world. So this is one of the most like famous Kroot mercenaries, this Drakak Grek, and this is where he comes from.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dakak Rek.
Nice.
Yeah.
The next one we have is Aspodel, and it is
Looks like
swamp.
Asphodel.
Aspodel is a swamp-covered world inhabited by a population of stranded Kroot, most of whom have repressed into barbarianism. Dense canopies cover the surface in perpetual gloom, which serves to hide various native predators as they hunt. The only break in the planet coverage wetlands is the Loon Mountain Range close to the equator. And this planet has a whole bunch on it, honestly. It's a very cool world. It's in the back of my mind now. We won't talk about it anymore. We got a lot of other planets to cover, but definitely go check it out if you want to learn about like another Kroot world. Then we got the Karoch. It's a Kroot inhabited world within the Tau Empire. In 976 M41, the Necron Sautek dynasty invaded, although the Kroot initially repelled them, consuming Necron material, led to a devastating nanoscarab plague among their ranks.
Ew.
El Bozo.
Yikes.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, get
Rip
shit
those, though. But as Jack would say, the Necron got eaten, but then the Kroot died as a result. So win-win for the Imperium.
We win these. We win these. Simple dubs, easy dubs, hand check.
Total Imperial victory.
Mark is not hand checking.
That's just how much I like it.
Someone's gonna rub shoulders later.
So the whole thing of Asphodel is making me think of the Asphodel Fields in Greek mythology, which is a layer of the underworld, if I'm not mistaken, which is like where the majority of the dead souls of the ancient Greeks kind of went. It was just like a kind of like a bland, cloudy, swamp-like area. So,
okay, yeah, that definitely sounds kind of like some inspiration. It definitely doesn't sound like a Kroot word, that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not a lot. Yeah, honestly, it's the only one that doesn't sound like that.
But you know what does sound like a Kroot word?
Go ahead.
What does sound like a Kroot word is Chata. Chata is a jungle world in the Pech system with the third largest Kroot population after Pech and Porlock. Its inhabitants are divided between traditionalists dwelling in swamps and progressives utilizing technology salvaged from Orc Space Hulk debris. Interesting. So again, this is leading to like my Mechanicus eating Kroot that become more industrial. Then man, I'm already like 4 armies in this hobby. I don't need to collect another one.
But you do, because technically they're just mercenaries. They can be a part of your current army. So it's not a new army.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah. Or you could put Mechanicus cloaks on them and make them eat your Mechanicus armies.
Oh, dang. You're giving me ideas. That is dangerous. Like if you I took a picture of my pile of shame and potential. It's in the works in progress channel. I have a problem. So all right, some more Kroot worlds. Krath. Krath is a Kroot colony world that was nearly overrun by orcs. The Tau's first sphere of expansion reclaimed it, marking the first Kroot world liberated during the war in the Place of Union. Kraw. Kraw is a heavily forested world in the Pech system, notable for its dangerously mutated wildlife. Kroot are forbidden from consuming its fauna and may only visit with special permission from their shapers. Very interesting.
Yeah, some interesting planets for sure, where you read them and you're like, okay, I already see some like war bands coming out of there for some armies. So yeah, let's keep going through them.
Yeah, Kaisan is a Kroot colony that experienced a bloody uprising during the Tau's fifth sphere of expansion, following a massacre overseen by surviving fourth sphere Tau. In response, the Ethereal Council removed all alien auxiliaries from the fourth sphere contingents. Oh, so this is like when they went missing in the warp, and they had
Yeah.
warp PTSD.
Yeah, and Talva is created. Yeah, so these Kroot definitely you don't put them around other Tal very often.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. The Noko
Neato!
mines. Neato! Alien racism. Yay!
Soap says drinking game every time Jack gets racist, take a shot. So
People would die of liver
Oh,
poisoning. We can't
we
do
can't.
that.
Lorehammer legal cannot
Yeah.
encourage such
They
a
would-
game.
no.
They would die very fast. It would be very sad.
And plus, we have some people who are not of drinking age. So come on, guys, have some class.
Hey.
Yeah.
We never said alcohol. Anyways, Noko Mines. The Noko Mines is an artificial planetoid. No.
No, that's Tal, not Kroot. You gotta sound like a bird, not a.
Oh, the
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
an artificial planetoid in the Pech system. It's Nokomai's origins, puzzling even Tau Earthcast scientists. It serves as a bustling spaceport for traders, mercenaries, and travelers from numerous alien species. Okawa, Okwa, is a Kroot world within the Pech system, characterized by its vast deserts and arid climate. Its inhabitants have adapted to the harsh environment, developing unique survival and hunting techniques. I like the idea of an artificial planetoid. Where'd it come from? Where'd it go? Cotton Eye
Where'd you
Joe.
come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah, it's possible
Great
the Kroot
minds.
even made it. They build these massive warships that you would not think that they are capable of making, and maybe they made a bigger one too.
Okay. Ursats, I'm not 16. I'll have you know. I am of age.
Does Jack look 16?
Certain things make people think that I'm 16.
He
Certain
looks
actions.
30 for sure, but
Okay. I'm being discriminated. That's fine. I'll just talk to Lorehammer Legal after the podcast.
You go talk to Lorehammer Legal.
Yeah. Let's see what they do. Trevor Buzak, hello.
We need to contact Imperium Resources here.
Oh man, that's funny. The next planet is Pork. Pork is a Kroot world in the Pech system, boasting the second largest population after Pech. It plays a significant role in Kroot society, balancing traditional practices with integration into the Tau Empire. And the final planet is the Yunchen. The Yunchen is a Kroot inhabited world known for its dense jungles and rich biodiversity. The planet serves as a vital training ground for Kroot warriors, honing their tracking and survival skills. I like to think that they typically will pick these jungle worlds, not only just because it's like their home world, so it makes sense. Like, yeah, let's be somewhere where we like. But also, jungles seem to have the most biodiversity, and as a Kroot, if you're feasting off all that, just seems like you're in like a food paradise then.
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that they named a planet after the noise my dog makes when it's puking in the corner. Yeah, it's that exact. It's good that it's very traditional there. It's a very nice planet, not covered in. Oh my god, that's where they send all their owl pellet vomits.
Oh yes, nice. To be reused as barbecue pellets to cook people over.
So
Delicious.
Kroot naming conventions. So Kroot naming conventions, just listen to the sound your dog makes when it pukes.
Yeah. And let me tell you more about some beliefs and culture they have.
They definitely do have some beliefs and cultures there, Mark. So we're going to talk about that right now before we get even more derailed. Haha.
I like old timey Gerald.
I saw I don't know, I just saw
Come on,
Ursa's comment about speakeasies and then I just like heard like 1930s radio in my head for some reason.
I think you should be doing the Lorehammer ad reads from now on, not me.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
atrocious when I do it.
Oh,
Have you
Lord, I
heard
gotta-
of beliefs and culture? Well, have these Kroots got a thing for you?
Oh boy, I'm going to get this Lorehammer party started right. Give me a second.
Loves it.
Oh man.
Jizz hands, I barely know her.
Fuck.
And on that note, let's do a hand check.
I don't like that. I don't like the sideways glance you do when you're doing the hand checks, Mark. It's scary. We know you ripped your pants
Okay.
at one point, Mark. I know you did do it again.
Serious. Okay. The Kroot believe in a variety of gods, including Vok and Gmork. That seems a little sus. Who are credited with creating the universe. Kroot see the eating of the dead as a sacred act and honor their own fallen by consuming them in burial ceremonies. Vok the Huntress and Gmork the Destroyer and the Battle of the Nothing Sea. The Battle of the Nothing Sea was more than a clash. It was a spark that birthed the universe. The Kroot tell it like this. Two gods, Vok the Huntress and Gmork the Destroyer, met in the dark of space, their fate sealed by the edge of a blade and the roll of a dice. Vok, an ancient force, wandered the Nothing Sea long before stars were born. Out there in the void, she crafted a plan, one that would awaken the cosmos. She was alone, a solitary predator in the dark, until she crossed paths with Gmork. This was no chance encounter, though. This was destiny. Vok, always a tactician, saw potential in an alliance. She reached out to Gmork, but instead of partnership, he offered violence. His laughter was all she got before the fight began. The battle was a storm, gods crashing into each other, and the Nothing Sea itself tore apart. Stars ignited where their fists fell. Mork the Destroyer was too wild, too caught up in the clash to notice the true cost of their war. But Vok, ever sharp, saw the opportunity. She steered Mork's rage, using his power to spread the seeds of the heavens. She had a plan, and Mork was unwittingly helping her shape it. Over time, the goddess tried to make him see sense, but Mork's wasn't one for talks. He only wanted destruction, and it showed in the battle's wake. As stars shattered, worlds took form. Vok saw the beauty in this chaos. Her plan was taking shape. But Mork was no fool for long. He saw what was happening and turned his fury toward the universe Vok had made. The gods matched each other blow for blow, strength against speed, resolve against agility. In a final, savage move, Vok drove her beak into Mork's neck, and his god blood flowed into her. It should have been a victory, but the taste of it soured. Vok's strength grew, but so did a sickness, a poison that gnawed at her insides. She was stronger than Mork now, and in the end, she bested him. She banished him to the empty reaches of the Nothing Sea, leaving him in the darkness. As the poison spread, Vok's time ran out. She flew to the heart of her plan, a world called Pech, and there she died. But before her wings fell still, she left her mark. Mountains from her bones, forests from her feathers, and from her final breath, a swarm of eagles filled the skies. These were the first Kroot, born of the goddess's last will, wild and free, born to hunt the stars. And now,
Very
bedtime
cool.
stories with Gerald.
Yeah. What do you make of it? Like, how much faith do we put in this mythos?
I mean, I don't see why we shouldn't believe it. Because why would the Kroot lie to us? They're not filthy
Yeah.
mind controllers,
Yeah.
walking around mind controlling us without our consent.
Yeah, like Vok and Gmork, they definitely could be some type of like warp entities. Maybe they're even just like old ones as well, although I don't think that works as well as just like
I mean, it would though, right? Because
maybe.
they seed creation inside themselves because they seed their own genetics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like we don't have any references to Kroot going back as far as the old ones. Like we do know a lot of them. We can name a lot that do go back that far, but Kroot just there's not that tie. And even the way they operate, we read another old one race the other day that had more like genetic technology built into them. Where like the Kroot, they don't have that same spot.
That's fair. I don't know. Yeah, like it could be all of the above. Maybe the old ones saw the error of their ways maybe the old ones being affected by the enslaver virus and getting all stupid and crazy. This is what they became. Cool guys.
The old ones became this. Wow. Okay.
Maybe.
Get that tinfoil hat.
As a conspiracy theorist,
Yeah.
you know, I just want to say, like, maybe we can look at the kindred and see how they work. Anyways, Kroot operate in kindreds. Children.
Kindred.
Kids,
We'll call it a kindred. Yeah.
yeah,
A
yeah,
kinder.
yeah.
Oh, kinder. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah. You know, we may have gone a little German there. The you know, and who knows how these kindred spirits could have kindred. Kroot operate in kindreds. Kindreds. Yes.
Oh, my soul's leaving my body. You're killing me. You're killing me.
Well, you know, jizz hands, kindreds, Kroot operating kindreds, dynamic, adaptable units that blur the line between mercenary squads, extended families, and roving warbands. These kindreds vary wildly in size, each with its own codes, traditions, scents, and even distinct skin tones, all marking their unique identity in the galaxy. The bond between members is unbreakable. Attack one Kroot and you bring the wrath of the entire kindred down on you. They communicate through scent, vocalizations, everything from squawks to howls, and the rattle of their quills, alerting each other to danger and bloodshed. Kroot revere their ancestors, known as the Roots. These figures are sacred, their wisdom and genetic gifts passed down through the generations, ensuring the survival of the kindred and their evolution as warriors. Each kindred is led by the elders, who dispatch their warriors across the stars, often as mercenaries. These contracts aren't just for gold or glory. They are opportunities to absorb new genetic material, vital for the Kroot's continuous evolution. Parasites. Mercenary work is at the core of their existence. Kroot take contracts wherever they find them, from anyone willing to pay. They are a mobile force, constantly seeking new genetic strands. While they primarily work for with the Tau, their reach extends beyond. Mercenary contracts are a means to evolve, and betrayal is a dishonor. Each job, each genetic harvest, feeds their relentless drive to adapt and thrive. Excellent rhymes there for whoever wrote that. That was solid bars.
Yeah. I'm a rapper for sure. I can
You're a
rhyme
rapist?
3 to 4 words in series together.
Yes,
Believe it or not.
yes.
Won't show you now, but I can do it. I like the kindreds, these family units that kind of stick
Kinders.
together. These kinders. Very cool. At the head of the kinders, we have the Master Shaper and the Shaper Council. A Shaper Council is a tight-knit unit typically made up of 3 to 5 senior Kroot Shapers, led by the Master Shaper. These Shaper Councils control and guide multiple kindreds, overseeing their dietary intake to steer the fine-tune the evolution of the Kroot. The genetic traits of the Shaper Council's members often ripple through the entire species, influencing the genetic direction and adaptability. Each council acts as both a force of control and a catalyst for the Kroot's relentless evolution, sharpening their edge across the countless battlefields. The Master Shaper. The Master Shaper stands at the top, the ultimate authority on the genetic evolution of the Kroot. In charge of their shaping the entire kindred's genetic future, they also manage the flow of new genetic material, trading with other Kroot forces to exchange their own. This role isn't just about biology, it's also about business. The Master Shapers negotiates mercenary contracts, securing deals that both bring resources and genetic diversity to the kindred, ensuring their constant evolution and deadly adaptability. And then we have the Shaper Chief, who's a part of this council. In times of crisis, the Shaper Chief can rise, commanding respect and uniting hundreds of kindreds into a single focused force. This rare leader harnesses the strength of many, adapting rapidly to the situation, forging a deadly army from the scattered units. Their power is temporary, but in these moments, they drive the Kroot to unparalleled ferocity and efficiency. So yeah, you get a big enough kind of Kroot gathering, maybe they get a certain goal together. One of these guys that kind of rises to the top.
Interesting. And
They
well,
really
from
shape
the
battles.
they really do. They really do. But they have to come from somewhere, so they come from regular shapers. Shapers are the ones who lead the kindreds into battle, guiding their troops like a seasoned mercenary sergeant. But their role goes deeper than just strategy. They control the very evolution of their kindred by guiding them in the hunt. If a shaper needs more muscle in his warriors, he'll send them after orcs. If speed and agility are required, they'll target the swift Eldar. Those who specialize in this are called flesh shapers, masters of savage ritualistic butchery. Their pride lies in sculpting their pack's genetic legacy, ensuring that only the strongest and most valuable traits are passed down. The Imperium marks these shapers as primary, intermediate trophic, but to the Kroot, they are revered. The Shaper's talents go beyond tactics. They possess an uncanny, instinctual understanding of their prey, gaining insight into the wounds and abilities of any foe they've consumed. This knowledge is as much a weapon as their strength, but it doesn't stop there. Shapers also practice shamanistic rites, acting as the spiritual focal point of their kindred. Through chants and the use of ritual objects, powders, rocks, bones, they tap into powers that seem almost supernatural. These abilities include ancestral blessing, calling upon the warrior spirits of their ancestors to aid in battle, blood of the stalker, when they anoint themselves and the warriors with the blood of predators to gain favor from the spirits, corn, and prophetic dream, a vision from the ancestors, often cryptic, granting glimpses of the future that could hold answers for days, weeks, or even years ahead.
Cool. Yeah. Plain Jane asks, what triggered this council? What do you think they ate to start that behavior? Tinfoil hat time, consuming humans? I have spent some time around chickens, and we joke around like 40K takes things and puts them into space, and Kroot are just space chickens. They're these crazy bird things. They're violent. They eat everything around them. But the point of this chicken rant is, even in chicken society, you got the rooster, you got hens, and they got very distinct roles just right from the get-go. I think it's just kind of the way things work, just based off biology and how you survive.
Yeah, as someone who shits eggs quite constantly, I gotta agree with you. It could just, like, as soon as anything really becomes cognizant in the world, they do tend to form some sort of council and ideology.
Yeah,
we see it in chimps and stuff too. Like anything that's slightly more cognizant than like a chimp, I guess, will tend to form some sort of council.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they ate something cooked once on accident and grew some amount of a brain, or something along those lines. Or maybe they were once old ones, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe even it's like they ate a bunch of the orcs too, and that's kind of where they got this. Like, okay, we do need a strict hierarchy.
Maybe.
But
they got that shroom in them.
Yeah.
But unlike shrooms, the Kroot have flesh shapers. And these flesh shapers are the grim surgeons of Kroot society. Experts in brutal butchery, they've got a sharp eye for quality genetic material, guiding their packs to feast on only the best. Their pride is carved into every battle for the flesh they harvest becomes their strength. Trail Shaper are the tacticians of the Kroot, planners of ambush and assault. They scout the land, plotting the best routes for their forces, knowing the terrain like the back of their hand. Every step they take before battle gives the enemy an edge, or gives their army an edge, setting the stage for a clean kill. War Shapers are the hardened commanders, seasoned in the heat of battle. They manage the flow of combat, directing the Kroot forces with precision. With weapons like the blade staves and tri-blades in hand, they are lethal in their own right, tacticians who live and die on the edge of battle. Pact Shapers are the negotiators, hardened mercenaries who barter contracts with employers across the stars. They'll strike deals with anyone, even the scummiest of scummers. if it means a good fight or a chance to kill, or a chance to a chance to strengthen their pack. Packs are sacred, bound in blood over the stone of Pech, ensuring loyalty in the harshest of alliances.
Cool. I was saying earlier this episode, all the different little things they've added to the Kroot. This has definitely been a big one. All these different little shaper ranks and roles and stuff. Pretty cool seeing all of them fleshed out.
Yeah, they've really given themselves shape.
Yeah, yes. I liked your last segue. You did one of these where you're like, and we're not talking about X and X, we're talking about Kroot variations. And it's like you could do that with any segue. Yeah, and we're not talking about Canadian mining rights. Yeah, we're talking actually about Kroot variations.
I hope Canadians don't have mining rights.
Well, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Kroot variations. This is honestly the best part about Kroot. And it's that they use variations of themselves and they can adapt. So Kroot are endlessly adaptable. Their forms shaped by what they hunt and consume. Those who feast on arcs grow into hulking brutes, thick with muscle, toughened skin, and raw aggressive energy that makes them devastating shock troops. Packs that prey upon Eldar become leaner, faster, more graceful. Their reflexes sharpened and their senses heightened. In rare cases, such consumption awakens latent psychic potential, producing strange, trance-bound Kroot who speak in riddles and glimpse moments yet to come. While feasting on feral predators can lead to heightened instinct, keen scent, and razor-sharp like claws, across the stars, no two Kroot kindreds are ever truly the same, each one honed by the prey they've hunted and the legacy they carved from flesh. Yeah, these are where Kroot just really break out into the many different types of, you can have big Kroot, you can have tiny Kroot, you can have lizard Kroot, you can have aqua Kroot, you can have winged Kroot, you can have psychic Kroot. The possibilities are just endless. Some Kroot called headhunter Kroots, they are specialized assassins because they ate enough poisonous creatures, so now they secrete poisons and then put it on their weapons and poison you and all that kind of cool shit. Do you guys have any cool Kroot that you like really kind of vibe with right off the bat of what you'd like to see them eat and turn into?
I genuinely I want to see what happens if a Kroot ate like something like a squid and it would like ink at people.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe
like
some chameleon abilities too. Yeah,
that would be rad. Something like that.
Really cool.
They just throw they shit in one hand, huck it at the other.
The Thyrus, I think, are the 40k squid race that use all the colorful theatrical. Yeah. So maybe we get them
killed out.
I think they're still alive, so we might be able to see the Kroot squid ink colorful hybrid.
Good. It's as the God Emperor intended. Yeah. We'll kill them later, so that way we can get rid of it. But
there's some great artwork. Definitely go Google it if you're not looking at the live stream, where it's a picture of 4 different Kroot, and one is wings, one is big and green, one is like has gills and like webbed fingers and toes. Yeah, and then one's like very much has been eating lizards and stuff. And yeah, it's so cool, man. You can get up to some wild things. I wonder if there's a max of like how much you can take. Like, okay, you take some poison, then you take the wings, and you're doing it slowly over time, or if it kind of just always leads to that dead end if you take too much.
Yeah, maybe if they hit like one too many. But if they have like a set species that they eat in one order, maybe it's like maybe that's what the shapers can do. They can be like, hey, okay, you can eat 5 lizards if you're trying to grow weight. 5 lizards.
That's all. Yeah. Kroot dietary restrictions, man. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah. And they can't eat chocolate either.
Oh, man. And I thought my diet was bad.
Gerald, do you have a favorite kind of Kroot style?
I've always been partial to birds, so I think like we know Kroot are already bird-like, but I think the ones that actually fly and do like bird things, that's probably be where I'd go.
Yeah. So like the vulture strain. Yeah.
Definitely. Like anyone who knows me also knows I'm a big fan of Zinch and his burb-related demons, so it all fits.
It's all coming together, and changes. Ah,
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Oh, yeah. I think soap also makes a good point where, like, at just some point, they probably run out of, like, they probably eat something, and then after a few generations, it goes away. Like, they have to keep eating it.
I see. Yeah. There's like a
Yeah.
genetic memory that fades. Sure.
So it's like you kind of have to keep like a rotating diet of like, okay, this month we're going to eat this species. This month we're going to eat this species. So that way it
Yeah.
doesn't just like completely go out of their system.
Yeah, like Jimmy Carter and his peanut farm.
Yeah, because if you
Oh,
eat one too
no.
many things, you become a Kroot subspecies or a dead
Yeah.
end.
I wonder
Yeah.
what a Kroot peanut would be like. But no, actually, no. I want to talk about the Kroot shrooms because we got ourselves a really interesting Kroot called the Green Kroot. These Kroot have gorged on orc flesh for generations, growing brutish muscle, thick and war hungry. Their skin takes on a green hue, and their minds are drawn to violence. They charge headlong into battle with bellowing roars and a love for the fight. I just wanted to get that little bit out because orcs.
Yeah, fucking. So
Oh,
Kroot,
yeah.
Kroot orc is like that. You got to have that Cockney bird accent. Mix the two together.
Well, in Britain, they also call the women there birds. So realistically,
Oh,
they already exist.
yes.
Cockney women are Kroot.
It all comes together.
Grimalda says the dude Jack said. Let me find it. Is this Lorehammer? Okay, is this Lorehammer legal certified?
Yes, it
I
is.
found the comment. Does your mushroom need help getting up? Come on over.
Okay, now call it.
Oh
Viorgra.
my god.
We sell Viorgra.
Come on over to Lorehammer Legal, where we sell ourselves Viorgra. Guaranteed to give you a wonderful night.
Oh man.
Should not
A
last
night of
longer than 4
crumpin'.
hours.
A night of cramping, a night of loving, and a night of shroom upping.
Shroom. Fuck.
If said shroom up in less longer than 4 hours, please consult your pain boy.
You gotta train
Yeah,
to say
that's-
that really fast.
Yeah, I think so. I still think it needs some more Kroot in it, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
You just got to eat some more Kroot orc.
I think the fact that they also have lizard Kroot is really interesting because humans also have lizard versions of ourselves that live in the underground of our societies and they control the government.
It's true. I've seen it. I've seen it
been
on
there.
the Wikipedia.
I've been there.
I've been on the ground. I've seen it.
I've been there.
They ate my uncle. I'm telling you, they ate him.
So where do you want?
We're gonna skip all these little subspecies of Kroot, or not of this, the variations of Kroot. Like I said, the Kroot come in all shapes, man. There's infinite possibilities of like what happened. Like we can speculate, like what does happen when they eat enough Groks, or what happens when they.
Pages.
Yeah, so we'll jump over them because it's kind of all just gets your mind racing with whatever. We will talk about the Kroot subspecies because these are slightly different as opposed to Kroot just constantly changing and evolving. Like these are like established dead ends almost, where they're almost honored and used too. They keep them around. So the first one of these is the Kroot subspecies that are hardened echoes of ancient hunts, kins who have followed specific evolutionary paths, so obsessively their forms became fixed, their DNA tangled and rigid. They no longer adapt, no longer evolve. Much of their cunning has faded, and the voice no longer carry the Kroot tongue. Yet they remain bound to the kindred. They still scent command in pheromone trails and catch meanings in barking orders. In the fury of battle, there is one, flawless in motion, feral in purpose. Yeah, so this is cool. This is when you get all your weird aunts and uncles and you go on a crusade. Yeah.
And we're all related, but very close. Way too close. Just way too closely related.
Yeah.
Way too close.
Oh, that's getting into some real rough territory there. So why don't we go talk about ourselves a Krootox? The Krootox is a hulking brute bred through generations of selective feeding to serve as living artillery or heavy assault units. Though its mind is dulled, its loyalty to the kindred remains unshakable. It carries heavy weaponry into war, trampling enemies beneath its bulk while roaring defiance. The Kroot Hound. Lean, sharp-toothed, and hungry, Kroot hounds are perfect hunting beasts, faster than a man and twice as relentless. They track prey through scent and instinct, operating in near silent packs. Once they latch on, they don't let go until the flesh stops moving.
I can really relate with that. But sometimes that's a little too low for me, and I think that we got to take things higher, such as with the Kroot hawk. The Kroot hawk is a semi-intelligent avian, often seen perched on Kroot shoulders or circling in flocks above their camps. It mimics speech and distant gunfire, serving as a scout and alarm system. Some believe it carries the spirits of fallen Kroot, watching silently from above. The Narlochs are beast mounts bred for toughness, ridden into war by daring Kroot riders, wielding long rifles and lances. Their tough hides and brutal temperaments make them effective shock cavalry. Their lineage is lightly controlled, fed only on prey that strengthens endurance.
But what's better than a Narloch? A greater Narloch. And it's an enormous... Oh, I fucked it with the read part. Too bad. Is
No,
a
it's-
walking siege... Oh, carry on. Okay. It's
And
an
you
enormous
failed.
and ancient... The greater Narloch is a walking siege engine, armored in thick scales and bound in ritual harness. It carries entire warbands on its back and drags artillery through the ash plains of war-torn valleys. Few enemies can match its fury once provoked. It looks like a fucking bird T-Rex. It's sweet. Dead ends come and dead ends go. Some Kroot spawn are strange, fleeting things, twisted forms born of ill-chosen flesh. Unable to stabilize or breed true, they appear without pattern, burn bright in battle, and rot quietly in the dark, and vanish from the kindred without record. No name is given, no categories earned, only a knowing silence and a swift return to the hunt. So yeah, these are another kind of cool one. I kind of came up with the Kroot troll idea when making some Kroot, where I took a Lord of the Rings troll and slapped a Narloch's head on it, gave it some quills, and made I actually have it right beside me. I can grab it 1 second. I got two really cool Kroot I'll show.
Grab it.
Grab it.
Hey, Joe, did you know he brought up T-Rexes? T-Rexes
Yes,
are
he
pretty
did.
cool. Yeah, let's talk about the T-Rex real quick. On my podcast.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm actually looking for something T-Rex related, but keep on going. I want to hear this.
Oh no, you look up your T-Rex related thing. Mark, yes, please show us.
Yeah, let's try to get some light on there. Yeah, so this was like a Kroot troll, where it's a Lord of the Rings Kroot, but I slapped heads on it. Bunch of toothpicks on them and stuff for quills.
Oh, that is actually rad.
But yeah,
That
like
is really
you could do anything. And this one, I took a AOS orc dragon and slapped a bunch of quills on it, and then mounted Kroot on it, and turned it into like a quill beast.
I like the gun.
That's cool.
Yeah, thanks. Fucking Kroot, man, I love it. Just you can pick up any model, toss some spikes on it, toss a Kroot head on it, and all of a sudden it's like the with orc conversions, you can grab any vehicle and turn it orky, but with Kroot you can grab any mini and turn it Krooty.
Krootini Alfredo.
Krootini Alfredo.
Rotini. Okay, hold on. I'm sending this to Mark because we were talking about Kroot T-Rexes, and let me find you, Jack, because you'll find this hilarious.
I will.
So
anything dinosaur related, I find great.
Okay, so remember how we were talking about like scientifically accurate dinosaurs, and a lot of them were feathered? I found one of a particular interpretation of a T-Rex, and it looks like a giant angry murder chicken.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I know the exact picture you're talking about. I know it off rip. Oh, that's rad. The Kroot would do that too. They would be so like good on them, man. But I wonder if there's any like famous kindreds.
There actually are. Funny, you should ask that. Let me go to that page so I can actually read the notes here. Among the Kroot, renown is not gifted, it is taken, earned through bold hunts, worthy prey, an evolution that leaves a mark. Fame spreads not through words, but through flesh, each great kill shaping the warrior, the kindred, and the legend they leave behind. the Misthound Kindred. The Misthound Kindred is a roaming pack of Kroot hunters active now in the dark reaches of the Coronis expanse. Their bloodline runs deep in the wild Kroot in the wild roots of Pech long before the orcs or Tau ever laid eyes on the world. When warp-born crotalids slithered onto Pech,
Yeah.
the Kroot
Crotalids.
hunted, consumed, and studied them. They praised gift short-range warp movement, eluded full mastery for generations, until it surfaced in a hunter named Ashak Kor, born well after the orc incursion. Ashak rose to become Shaper, leading his kin off-world in search of knowledge, prey, and refinement of their rare skill. Now the Misthounds track Psychers and warp-touch query across the stars, ever seeking the day they might hunt the void itself without the need of ships.
Yeah, these guys are
That's-
sweet. We got
that's-
Crotalids, man.
Dude, the fact any crotalid showing up in any story, a tear sheds my eye. That's how you say that.
Yeah, I fucking love it. Yeah, so now you got them eating the crotalids, these warp crocodiles, and then the Kroot can now jump and make little flicks. This was that little bit of that. It took a couple generations for them to kind of learn this ability, but this seems like a very tough one to master, very instinctual, to tap into and open a warp rift. So, yeah, a couple generations makes sense.
I mean, some of these guys sound really notable. Notable Kroot to become.
Yeah, well, Ursat says Jokero Kroot discussion. Yeah, fucking just imagine that, where you get really highly intelligent Kroot making all types of weird weapons, not for their survival, but to advance their hunger.
But would they? But would they want to? Because they seem like kind of anti-tech. They want everything to be biology, biology, but also word.
Yeah, anti-tech is interesting. I don't know if I would go that far with them. I think it's more like they haven't had the need to advance their tech almost, if that makes sense. Like
they've been doing so well biologically where it would be too much to do it and they don't care to do too much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you need to make a cool power weapon, or can you just eat somebody with a giant claw and now you have something just as good?
Yeah.
But
I get that. That would be kind of rad. But on to the notable Kroot that are notable. To become a famous Kroot, one must hunt and consume only the most dangerous and cunning prey, adapting their strengths into your own. A true path to renown lies in leading bold off-world campaigns that bring back not just trophies but new mutations for the kindred. Fame is earned in the Kroot way, through survival, evolution, and the tales whispered around bonfires of the enemies you've outsmarted, outskilled, and outgrown. Angkor Proc. Angkor Proc was a peerless Kroot war chief, cunning, ruthless, and unmatched in the hunt. In the war of the place of union, he led with sharp instinct and blood-won wisdom, securing an alliance with the Tau to drive the invaders from Pech's forests. When the last shot fell silent, he stood before the Oathstone on the plain of bones, not in submission, but in tactical alignment, offering his kindred blades to the Tau cause, so long as the hunt remained worthy.
yeah, cool. He has a model. I don't think you could find it from GW nowadays, but you could definitely find it online, third party and stuff. Pretty cool. There are a couple other famous orcs or Kroot and stuff, but that one's really famous. Where the other ones aren't like this one has mythos to them. There's history to them. The whole Kroot look at this guy, where all the other ones are kind of just mercenaries and have one-off cool stories. So
yeah.
All right, let's dive further into that technology conversation. Fuzz says, I wouldn't say they're anti-tech, they just self-limit so that they don't grow soft. At least that's one theory. So yeah, technology. To outsiders, the Kroot appear primitive. Tribal figures roaming dense jungles, their dwellings high in the trees, with no sign of industry or flight. Yet those who observe closely, like the Tau on Pech, note strange shifts in the land, mountain ranges that hum, steam, or shift in the night, suggesting workshops buried deep beneath the bones of the world. Much of this may stem from the Kroot's selective feasting on orcs, absorbing their instinctive grasp of machinery and construction. With these new strands, the Kroot built not with study, but with memory woven into sinew and bone. They keep their daily lives raw and survival focused, reserving their finest tech for war and the stars, lest their kind grow soft. Their main weapon, the Kroot rifle, still carries the soul of the old fighting stabs, now shaped into a long-barreled tool of war. Once a crude slug thrower, it has been refined with the Tau to aid to launch. Okay, let's read that one again. It has been refined with Tau aid to launch crackling blasts of energy. Yet its core purpose remains unchanged: a weapon to strike, to stab, to hunt at arm's reach in the fury of close combat. Heavy weapons find their place too, most notably the Kroot gun, massive and brutal, fired from the back of a bellowing Krootox. Precision finds its home in the hunting rifle, built for those who strike from the shadow, covered with a single fatal round. Beyond these, the Kroot carry what they earn: blades and guns claimed in war, traded or scavenged from the corpses of those they once followed or fought beside. They wield splinter pistols, sluggas, shuriken catapults, and even the searing fury of flames and melta guns. From Imperial frag and crack grenades to orc glyphs and power weapons, every item tells of a past kill, a contract fulfilled, and a prey well hunted. Lots of cool different tech. My favorite one that the Kroot use is the accelerator bow. These distinctive weapons are built with Kroot rifle at the core. When fired, the bow's curves crackle with energy, charging the loaded arrowhead. Effects of struck enemies vary depending on the types of ammunition you use, such as fused arrows, guild arrows, or voltaic arrows. It just looks cool. You know, you see a Kroot up in a tree shooting a bow. Just fucking looks cool.
Yeah, it's badass. I don't like the fact that they culturally appropriated my humans, but that's okay.
It is what it is sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
This is cool a little bit with the Kroot and their mountains, and like if you look at them, you're like, okay, they don't have any technology. Then if you look closely, you see these kind of signs, but you still don't see the full scope of it.
Yeah. Also, on that note with the orcs, maybe they self-balance. But like, you know how the orcs aren't gonna like overdo their own war thing. They're gonna like let it sit and be equal, or as equal as they can be. So it's like maybe the Kroots self-regulate so that way they don't get too much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Could very well be. It's also making me think back to like the Wookiee comparison from Star Wars. Is like one of the most famous pieces of Wookiee technology is their bowcasters, which is basically like a plasma crossbow, essentially.
Yeah,
It's
So,
badass.
really cool
Iconic.
stuff. Very iconic. But you know what else is less iconic, but you know, another thing that the Kroot use are war spheres.
It works for anything. It's like, you know, and we're not here to talk about Canadian mining rights. Remember that. We're here to talk about war spheres.
It's the jack of all trades, right? The jack of all
my God.
trades.
Okay.
For those who don't have money, I just pointed to myself and on camera.
Yes, it is a jack of all trades right here. Yes.
Right there, yeah.
And now we're going to be talking about Kroot war spheres. What do you say about that?
Yes,
They're the
I'm
last-
twirling my
Yes,
mustache in
yes.
ecstasy.
Yeah, Shane, yeah.
Yeah, bless, just hands.
They're the last great relics of a time. They're the last great relics of a time when the Kroot walked among the stars with tools of power and minds of fire. Okay. Serious face now. Each war sphere is vast armored nest, 2 hollowed land masses forged into one. Sorry, let me redo that. Each war sphere is a vast armored nest, 2 hollowed land masses forged into one and ringed like the cut bone of a planet's heart. All right, pretty based. War spheres are living fortresses, half ship, half settlement, with a warp core buried deep in the center and crude thrusters strapped to the outer shell. The drives are old and slow, but dependable enough to crawl between the stars or drag the whole sphere down to a world surface. Once landed, the Kroot often buried the sphere into stone or soil, letting it serve again as hearth and home. Roots planted in fresh hunting ground. This kind of makes me think of like colony ships for the like golden age technology humans would use.
Yeah,
Rare and
for
sacred
sure.
Rare and sacred war spheres are sent only when the reward is rich, when the blood is hot and the payment heavier than steel. The Tau marvel at the Kroot's warp travel, never seeing how it's done, never knowing the instincts that guide the Kroot like a predator drawn to fresh prey. Inside the spheres echo the forests of old, metal shaped like twisting roots and vines, walls etched with the hunt, the kill, the feast. The air clings warm and damp, thick with the scent of oil, blood, and memory.
Man, what a hell of a thing they've made. That thing's huge. It's a big thing.
Huge.
It's
You
huge.
can't quite tell by the pictures I have pulled up. But yeah, no, this is like moon size type situation. They're big.
It's not a moon.
That's
Anyway.
close.
No moon.
That's a crotolid sphere.
Crikey.
Maybe they have a bunch of crotolids like in the middle.
Oh yeah, and that's how they power their warp jumps. Just harness crotolid and an engine.
They got them all running on treadmills.
Yeah, instead of how many horsepower does that engine have? How many Kroot power does that engine have?
I
mean, crotolid power. Sorry.
So about
again.
So
Crocodiles
about
right
1600 Kroot powered.
I thought the Kroot was the space between their jizz hands and their,
Now that was made up. I don't recall reading that in the reproduction segment.
Well, who knows, man?
Who knows?
We got to talk like realistically. We can't know about their sex without knowing about their military.
Realistically, it's true.
Yeah. Anyways, the Kroot do not maintain a military in the way other species understand it. There is no formal ranks, no parade formations, no endless drills. Instead, each kindred is a tightly bonded warband formed from bloodline, shared prey, and proven strength. Leadership is taken by the strongest, wisest, and most cunning, and may shift as battles unfold. They fight as a living organism, responding with fluid instinct rather than rigid command. Every warrior learns from the hunt, from the feast, and from the memory carried in their evolving flesh, each kill sharpening their next strike. When contracted by allies, most often in the Tau, the Kroot serve as shock troops, scouts, and ambushers. They work best on the flanks or in dense terrain, slipping through cover where others would bog down, striking hard and fast before fading into the wild again. Tau commanders give wide berth to their instincts, offering objectives but rarely commands. The Kroot do not march, they arrive. They do not retreat, they vanish. To work with them is to trust the kill will be made, even if you never see the blade. Despite their primitive appearance, Kroot war parties adapt rapidly to each battlefield. Some carry slug throwers, pulse weapons, or the relic guns of past prey. Others ride beast, bred in the deep vaults of their war spheres, or fight in the shadows of towering mercenary kin like the Krootis or Narlock riders. Those who serve long among aliens absorb their methods, their tools, and their very essence. The Kroot do not just fight beside allies, they learn from them. They become them, and they take what works back to their forests on Pech, waiting for the next war to begin.
Kroot don't arrive, they come. Winky face.
They come on their hands. Oh yeah. Don't. Oh no! It's all in your beard now. Oh.
Worst hand check ever.
Oh no. I really like. I enjoy their militaristic ideals. I also like. It got me thinking while I was reading it though. Imagine like a fourth sphere have like a fourth sphere commander having control over Kroots, and instead of like letting them do their best work on the flanks, he's like giving them direct orders, and he's like, no, you're gonna go right up the front and go right through this door. Like, I could really imagine them like being abused in their own way, and I like to see how they react to that.
Yeah, they're always given the shittiest jobs and like, yeah.
But even if they're given like a better job, like being given the shittiest jobs is like what they want. But if you gave them the better job and treated them more like armies, how would they react?
Huh. Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Lots of the interactions, though, with their military are just in like small mercenary war bands, you know, that kindred size interaction. As mercenaries, the Kroot are brutal, efficient, and fiercely independent soldiers of fortune who trade their blades for resources, genetic diversity, and the right to hunt. They do not fight for ideology or conquest, but for opportunity, the chance to test themselves, to evolve, and to feed. Clients do not hire the Kroot for discipline or ceremony. They hire them because when the blood starts spilling, the Kroot are already among the enemy, ripping, tearing, and consuming. Payment may be made in weapons, salvage, or living bodies to feast upon, and betrayal is rare. So long as the deal is honored and the prey is worthy, in every war they serve, the Kroot walk the line between ally and apex predator. The farther out and away you get, they have what are called far stalker kinbrands, and they are warbands that range far and wide across the galaxy, seeking fresh strains of beneficial genetic material to bring back to their species and shapers. So those are like the really far out there ones. On tabletop, they'd be kill team scale, size, and kind of goals. And in those guys, the far stalker kinbrands, they have kill brokers, and they're the squad commanders. And they're not only expert tacticians, but also capable fighters and negotiators, ensuring their kin receive just compensation for their missions. So, cool little different scale. You can hire all types of Kroot. A war sphere has 400,000 Kroot on it that you could hire as mercenaries. So that's fun. It's a lot of Kroot.
Wait, how many did you say?
400,000 was the number I read.
Less than Imperial ships. Okay.
Quaint.
Not as good. Not as good.
It saves a little bit on teeth, though, doesn't it?
Sure does.
They don't have teeth, though. Oh, I didn't understand the joke until just now. It's all right.
Dumb bitch.
You.
Yeah, you mute yourself. Yeah, we don't want to hear from you again.
You done goofed. But the Farstalker Kinbrand, yes, is actually a kill team that you can purchase on GW's website. The more you know. Cool. So, but enough about that. Let's talk about their relations with the rest of the galaxy at large. I didn't have a segue for that. I apologize. That was bad.
Yeah, you almost turned it into like a musical, but you didn't want to fully commit. But I was hoping you would. Like, and the galactic relations between the Imperium.
The Kroot occupier. Dude, that'd be rad. You should sing this whole next one.
Okay,
I was gonna say
Gerald, get on it.
Yeah, we got to have ourselves like just a Lorehammer musical episode now. It's canon. It will happen. The Kroot occupy a unique position in the web of galactic relations.
Oh, not yet. It's not that episode.
No, that was bad. Okay. Neither fully aligned with any empire nor entirely isolated. Though closely tied to the Tau through long-standing alliance, they are not the subjects of the greater good, but partners of convenience, even though they are exclusive to the Tau faction. The Tau provide weapons, starship access, and contracts in exchange for Kroot service in battle. Yet the Kroot remain deliberately separate, refusing to be culturally absorbed. Other galactic powers regard them with wary pragmatism. Some see them as primitive savages, others as frighteningly effective killers for hire. Their neutrality paired with their adaptability allows them to move between the factions few others could, fighting for Imperials on one war, for rogue traders, or xenos in the next. And I would like to bring back to one more Halo reference in that for those who play Halo and know about the Covenant, you have one species called the Jackals. They are very bird-like. They actually come in two forms, one regular jackals and then one called skirmishers. And in the Halo lore, they actually start off as like space pirates that were contracted by the Covenant to work for them. So
What's
very
the
interesting
difference
stuff.
between the two?
Between the two different types of jackals.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture, but like your standard jackal is just like your pseudo bird, like almost think of it like an orange Kroot, and then they have like a mounted energy shield gauntlet, and then with a porthole to shoot their plasma rifles from. Skirmishers are kind of like your murder turkey velociraptors with a lot more feathers. They run around very fast, and they basically dual wield plasma pistols essentially.
Okay,
So
cool,
I'll send you pictures later.
So
yeah,
one's
that's basically the
more
difference.
cool, and the other's a huge fucking nerd with a shield, and he's stupid, and he sits in corners, and then I run out of ammo shooting at him. And anyways,
I gotta pistol whip him to death, but I get off to that, so it's fine.
But he's always further away than my pistol can reach. Anyways.
That's why you got to shoot the hand through the porthole so he dives back, and then you can give him the
ran out of
headshot.
ammo. My bad. I wasted
Then
it.
run up to him and melee punch him. That's all you got to do. You're a Spartan.
He had a gun. Anyways.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call, hey, Mom, I want Kroot. No, we have Kroot at home. The Kroot at home. Jackals from Halo. Here you go.
No, I don't want him.
That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting.
That's all you're gonna get. Just a bunch of bird mercenaries. And while we're talking about mercenaries, this mercenary flexibility makes the Kroot both valuable and dangerous on the galactic stage.
I like when we can get two segues on one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we
It's
know
like
we're
it's good.
podcasters.
Yeah, we cast Podly.
Ooh, did we do this? Did we unlock the achievement here?
Almost. We're
Cast
close.
The reputation is one of silence and savagery. Warriors who ask no question and leave no bodies untouched. Most factions recognize that to deal with a Kroot is to deal with a predator that honors the hunt above all else. Diplomacy with them is simple. Offer payment, present prey, keep your word. Chiblege. To betray them is to vanish, for the Kroot alliances are tools, not ideals, and the galaxy is not a place of order or empire. It is a forest filled with prey, and every star is a trail to new meat. Yum.
Yummy. You know, we talk about the orcs having a good time in 40K, and they might be the only ones, but I think Kroot are having a good time too. I really do. They're just out there devouring all the different things. I want to be the first Kroot to eat them all, they say. It's a good time.
Except the Tau. I want to be the first Kroot to eat them all, except the Tau.
Well, that's the last one you eat. You know, that's like you eat them all, and then you eat the Tau, and then your life's over.
Maybe they have like one freezer of all the dead Taus that died in that one battle, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh man, it's so sad they went
dead.
missing. It's so sad they went missing. Oh shucks.
I don't know why.
I hope you guys find his corpse.
Corpses.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so sad.
Here's his necklace. I found it.
Yeah, I don't worry about the owl pellets on it.
Don't worry.
Do
yeah,
you want to?
Kroot are fucking tight.
Do you want to call in the man, the myth, the man that has the sex knowledge?
Yeah, let's do that. That was the end of the notes. Let's get a call in. Fuzz, I'll drop a link there, and you can come.
Yeah, Fuzz, local sex haver, get in here.
Local sex haver.
Tell us about sex. We don't know.
The man, the myth, the legend. Fuzz.
How do you know whose penis will open up to accept the other man's penis?
Yes. Is it based on a combat trial?
Buzz says he's getting his mic set up. I am glad that he did find a source for that. I was deeply worried that I made that up in some fever dream, and I'm like, man, what am I doing with my life? Like,
you're jizzing on your hands, obviously.
I mean,
clearly,
if you did, you managed to gaslight old Warhammer into believing it too. So there's that.
It was actually the only thing I could remember when you talked about Kroot. It literally, I couldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And they're with the Tau and they have jizz hands, and I got banned from another server because I said that.
No,
and I was right, and they were just upset that I said jizz. But like, I was right, you know. And they tried to silence the truth because I had no evidence. Okay.
I felt the jizzy hands on my shoulders.
I felt the slimy goodness in my breath.
Oh man, no,
It
I
is
fucking
oily,
love
bro.
Kroot, man. They can turn into anything. They can kind of do anything. The very first kind of 40K short story I wrote was about a Kroot eating an Eldar in a forest and ripping open their chest cage, rib cage, and eating their still
Chest
beating heart.
cage.
So that was pretty fucking tight. As like an
That's
11-year-old boy.
badass.
It was, man.
Have you ever seen Zombieland?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
first one? Do you remember the fucking scene after they just went to go find Twinkies and it was all snowballs? And they're driving
Yeah.
along and it's some woman eating some dude's corpse. And and she like breaks apart some bone and starts like sucking out the marrow.
Oh,
I'm
yummy.
being super highly specific of this scene because when we talk about um like the Kroots eating people, I don't imagine it being like a ritualistic thing as much as like a ripping and tearing into it and just like breaking bones, eating the marrow, like really getting at the genetic material rather than the flesh itself.
Ooh, yeah, getting deep into it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
leave
like
the
you ever.
penis because that'd be gay.
Yes, that's canon. Fuzz is gonna source that as well for us right now. Hey, Fuzz, welcome to the show.
How's it going, everyone?
Source
Welcome,
that the
Fuzz.
Kroot don't eat penises for us, please.
Yes.
I can neither confirm nor deny that they do or do not eat penises.
Oh
Okay,
no.
well, what
Well, this
can
conversation
you
went
confirm or
away.
deny?
So I was actually was reading back through the 10th edition Tau Codex because it does have a good section on the Kroot compared to the last one. And has like one thing I like that they did in the Tau one. I don't know if they do it in the other ones because I don't have the other ones. But for like a couple of the different sections, they basically have little short stories, like 2 full pages. It's like a little short story about that part of the faction. And like, so for the Kroot there, it's a team of Krootox riders ambushing like an armored column of Imperial Guard. And at the very end of it, one of the Kroot is just like cracking off fingers one at a time, popping him in his mouth.
Ooh.
It's a really cool little story.
So I was
Yeah.
right. That's rad.
Yeah, no, like they're like, it describes that sometimes they don't even wait until the person is dead before they just rip into them.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. Yeah.
Like
The last thing that Eldar seen was the Kroot eating his still beating heart. Yeah. I
oh,
recall that.
absolutely, yeah, they would absolutely do something like that. And I didn't. One thing that I like that is it adds some new weapons and tech. I also might have missed you guys talking about this, but when I was looking at like I think their Lexicanum page, I didn't see it mentioned do you mention their javelins and their spine grenades?
I did not. What about them? Tell me more.
So basically, I mean, their javelins are just that. They're heavy weighted javelins for the Kroot to throw that have explosive tips. So they'll use them to, I imagine they could like, if they could get it into like the crack of something's armor, it'll blow it apart. But they'll throw it into like tank treads and things to disable vehicles. And then the spine grenades, think of like the Needler from Halo, but in grenade form, and they'll just like chuck it into a compartment or something.
Yeah. I think they're actually called quill grenades now that I'm remembering.
Quill grenade, that's what it was. Yes.
Quill
Yeah.
grenades.
Yeah.
I like spine grenades though. That's a way cooler name.
Spine grenade sounds really cool.
I think quill just because I think they take their own quills to use as the.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that would be really neat.
Yeah.
Did they do that bird thing where they're like eating at their fucking the underside of their wings and shit and plucking out all their feathers?
Honestly, I bet the ones that have feathers do preen them like that to clean themselves.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Kroot more than a lot of the other species in 40K, like literally anything's possible. Like them and the Tyranids, you could do just about anything with their morphology that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Do they have jizz on their hands?
They can, yeah. It's very oily jizz. It's
Okay,
it's an all-in-one. It's like a lubricant. It's their scent. It's their calm. It's everything.
Yeah.
Good.
They communicate
They're
through
so
it.
efficient.
They are.
We got a handshake from Grim.
Fuzz, you're failing.
Hey,
No.
hey, no. Roman salute live on the podcast. No.
Yeah. Shut it down. Shut Lorehammer down.